The Chicago Bulls claim they need a change in culture. After 5 seasons with Tom Thibodeau at the helm, Iowa State's Fred Hoiberg steps in. So what exactly does that mean for the Windy City or the hardwood? I wanted some answers, so I went investigating with ESPN 1000 in Chicago when I spoke to Steve Cashel, a radio host for the network, to get the lowdown on the future of the Bulls. So first of all, Steve, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us this afternoon on the Two-Man Advantage podcast.
My pleasure, Kevin. Happy to do it.
So, Steve, obviously, Fred Hoiberg is now in charge of the Bulls, and when the Bulls fired Tom Thibodeau, they talked a lot about changing the culture and needing to be on the same page. So, could you talk to me about how the firing of Thibodeau materialized and where you think the Bulls are headed under Fred Hoiberg?
Well, Kevin, what I think is that obviously there was some miscommunication, with Tom Thibodeau. They wanted him everybody pulling at the right string, the right hope, and it wasn't happening with Tom Thibodeau. And, obviously there was something happened there within the Bulls organization. They thought it best to move on. And, he's a great coach for many reasons, but you got to communicate. You got to respect your bosses, and it's got to be an open policy where if your general manager and director of basketball operations want to meet with you and discuss strategy, discuss how they plan on having the season unfold, I think a head coach has to be open to those things. And for some reason, that didn't work with what Tom Thibodeau was wanting to do. So I think a change was made for the better. I love what they have now in Fred Hoiberg. He's a player's coach. I think he's going to be a lot like Steve Kerr. And it's exactly what John Paxson and Gar Forman are looking forward to have this team go forward.
Now, in terms of Thibodeau himself, he had the second highest winning percentage behind Phil Jackson. So do you think he got the short end of the stick with his firing, or do you think it was an irreplaceable or irreparable relationship between the two?
Yeah, it was probably an irreparable relationship that just grew worse and worse, So unfortunate to see, because again, Tom Thibodeau has a lot of good traits. He's a great defensive coach, and a lot of players like him. But in the end, it was just something that continued to grow. And I think bottom line results, even though he did very well during the regular season, something was a misconnect there during the playoffs. You should have got past Cleveland, and they were very vulnerable. They're in the finals right now, but you had Kyrie Irving hurt and Kevin Love out, and basically it seemed like it was all those role players that beat you against a fairly healthy Bulls team. So I thought that was really the one that kind of broke the back of this thing when the Bulls did not get past Cleveland, and they could be in the NBA Finals right now. That's the one trouble with what happened in the past with Tom Thibodeau. The Bulls team very good in the regular season, but weren't able to win the big prize at the end. And it's all about winning the championship, and that's what it comes down to for a lot of these coaching staffs.
Now, in terms of Fred Hoiberg, he came in at his introductory press conference and said that one of the things he was most excited about was the versatility of the Bulls lineup and the number of different lineups he can play. So can you just tell me what sort of a brand of basketball you think we can see under Hoiberg's leadership?
Well, I think he's terrific. Again, he reminds me of a Steve Kerr type of coach. He's got experience with playing in the NBA, playing 4 years with the Bulls and then with the Pacers and some different teams. He's got 4 years as an NBA executive under Kevin McHale that he spent with the Minnesota Timberwolves. He's been a head coach, of course, with the Iowa State Cyclones, and I'm going to love. I think Bulls fans are going to be happy to see this guy run this basketball team. I think he'll play to the players' strengths. I think they'll be much better offensively. I think it'll have better flow. I think the Bulls led the NBA in shot clock violations, or at least shots being taken in the last few seconds of before a shot clock violation, and that's not going to happen anymore. I think he's going to use this team to its full advantage, and they're going to run a little bit more. They're going to hit a few more threes, or look to get open for a few more threes. So everything we're hearing on the way that Fred Hoiberg is going to use this roster, I think is going to be a great advantage in moving this Bulls team forward.
How do you foresee his previous relationship with this coaching staff or management group working, and what do you think what do you think of the roster he's taking over? Because this is a loaded bunch. So as long as he can implement a system that works in the NBA and based off his previous experience, he should hit the ground running, right?
Absolutely. No, he's got a terrific roster. It's one of the first things he said at this news conference, that he loves this roster. It's versatile. I think it's a championship roster. I hope they can hold on to Jimmy Butler. I think they will. I think he's going to play the young guys more. I think he's going to play Doug McDermott more, a guy he's very familiar with. Doug went through a little bit of an injury in the middle of the season, last season. Didn't see a lot of time, didn't get a lot of playing time, obviously, in the playoffs, hardly any. Niko Mirotic will be used a lot more, and Tony Snell. And those are three very versatile players off the bench that
keeping Jimmy Butler and playing the younger guys more?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think they're going to do everything they can to match any deal that Jimmy Butler gets, and you're going to see a lot more time from Doug McDermott, who had a bit of a interesting rookie season, mostly a lot of sitting on the bench, but I heard he was terrific in practice, and he just needs playing time. And I think he's going to get that playing time. Tony Snell will get more consistent minutes, and Niko Mirotic, who you saw lead the NBA in fourth quarter scoring during the month of March, will get more consistent minutes, and he's a big key and X factor off that bench. So I think Fred Hoiberg's going to love this roster he has, and I think he's going to use it to his advantage and the players' advantage, put them in the best possible position to win.
In terms of storylines, you'll be watching for the early part of training camp and the beginning of this season. Obviously, because of the Bulls having as much talent as they do, they'll be expected to win right away. So how short of a leash do you think Hoiberg will have? And what are some storylines you'll be watching out for?
Well, we'll see how good Derrick Rose is going to be coming off, another injury last season. We hope he can play a full season. Paul Gasol being able to be healthy. I think we lost him for 2 games in the playoffs. The storyline with this team is always about injuries. If they can stay healthy, come to camp healthy, have a healthy season, no reason they shouldn't be challenging for number 1 in the East, and hopefully for an NBA championship by the end of the season. But I think everyone's going to love Fred Hoiberg and his approach. The Bulls are a much better offensive team. That'll be a big storyline. We'll see who they pick up in the draft. We're going to see more minutes for guys off the bench like Tony Snell, Niko Mirotic, and Doug McDermott. And we'll see what else, if they can re-sign Mike Dunleavy or replace him with someone else. There's a lot of storylines for this team, but there's not a lot of cap room. They've got a championship roster, so the whole key is staying healthy. If they can stay healthy, they have as good a chance as anybody.
Well, Steve, we thank you for your time this afternoon and for talking Bulls basketball with us here on the Two Man Advantage podcast. It was a lot of fun, and we look forward to the next time.
My pleasure, Kevin. I appreciate you having me on today.